If you want to build a crypto portfolio that could make you literally rich in the next 6 months in this 2025 bull run, you're going to need to keep watching, because I'm going to show you the exact steps to follow that you can copy as your whole plan. And if you are starting a new portfolio, I'm going to give you exactly what coins I would look to invest in, how much, and what you can expect as a return. Because real quick, on the real, time of recording, the market is going absolutely crazy. And if you've been in the market for a while, you're starting to repeat or reap the rewards of not timing the market, of actually time in the market, especially if you've been in since 22 and 23. But it's not to discourage anybody that's looking to get in cryptocurrency right now, because obviously there's a lot of new people coming in and it's fine to do so, but you don't want to be getting in at the peak, because as we know, that crash in the bear market will be so bad. So real quick, I can give you mistakes that you can just learn from, so you can just do the opposite. So real quick, new guys, in the last bull run, I pretty much lost $950,000 and it sucked. Okay, so I read up 120, 130K, give or take, put some more money in, some other coins half through the cycle, and I pretty much hit 950K. And to lose all that, it sucked. You know, I had my feet wet in different coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Gala Games, some HBAR, some Solana, some QNT, a little bit of XRP. And, you know, I'm going to give you some blue chips, some safer ones, but the reality of this is most of the coins, you know, even at today's prices on the market caps, can still pull 10x multipliers. But you have to understand you're not going to get that on your bigger market caps. And that's something that's so important, because the reason I lost that 950K is because I was waiting for Bitcoin to hit 100K, Ethereum $10,000, HBAR $1. And the reality was, if you look back, the 4-year cycle was pretty much at the peak. It was November, December time, depending on you're looking at it. And obviously those coins ripped up so much that the gains were already made. So it's very, very important, because making money on paper is great, but if you don't know how to leave the bull market with profits, you will round trip it and lose it all the way down. Because again, you can be in great coins and still get it completely wrong. For example, if you just look here, Gala Games is one of the coins I read, and great entries, but guess what? Read it all the way back down. So you can buy Gala Games, get a completely different experience than somebody buying at the peak and round tripping it. Even if you buy at the great prices, you can get a completely different experience than just leaving. Okay, very important. Axie Infinity. I know a lot of people, one of my friends read all this up and he read it all the way back down, and he pretty much did 120x of this coin. Don't know if it was a little bit of luck, but he likes gaming, etc. He kind of liked the platform. Long story short, he had a very different experience than somebody taking profits on this, although his experience was great, but it was great until it wasn't, right? HBAR, you know, I've been in this coin for so long, we'll talk about this halfway through the video, because I still think HBAR is still an okay coin at 20 cents, but there's obviously some caveat to that, because we were buying at 3 to 6 cents, of course. So again, completely different outcome. I had a great experience until it wasn't. Solana, a lot of people had a great experience. All the guys that were buying 250 had a very bad experience. And this will all happen in the next 7 to 8 months. So be prepared for the excitement, or be prepared to leave, or you're going to lose. So it's very, very important you take this seriously. Yes, it's not 22 and 23 and 24 again, but of course, most of the gains do come in Q3 and Q4 2025. So an important lesson before we dive into creating a portfolio for you is understand that the bull run and the problems with copying people right now. So sure, you can copy me, and that's fine to do so. Many people have copied me, for example, Brett on a liquidity pool and doing super well. But many people will copy me on buying HBAR in future videos at maybe 60, 70, 80 cents. And they'll be like, oh, Jake bought HBAR, but I bought HBAR at 3 to 6 cents, and obviously a bad one at 14 cents when I put $40,000 in, but my average price is 6 cents. So you can buy the same coin. I mean, you can look at this video and many of my HBAR videos in the future, for example, but you're getting in at 20, 10x, 20x, depending if you're buying at 3 to 6 cents, if you're buying at 60 cents, it's a completely different outcome, because all the gains have already been made. So again, e.g., if you buy Bitcoin and you were lucky enough to buy it under $100 back in the day, but buying Bitcoin at 100K today, you're buying the same coin, but you're getting a completely different outcome. And again, the perfect example is Solana. All the guys that bought, literally, think about this, at under $1 in the previous run, okay, but the guys that bought 250, they had to spend 250x as much to get one Solana. So you could buy one Solana at $1, okay, and spend $1 and get one. For the guys that bought 21 peak, you had to spend 250. It's the same outcome again in the bear market. You know, it was under $10, $9, $8, but now you're buying at 172, 176. There's nothing wrong with that. I still think it's going to make you money, but just understand, same coin, completely different outcome. Again, me with HBAR, very obvious to understand this. completely effed up this, put $40,000 in at 14 cents. I read that all the way back down, but I realized my lesson. I was like, okay, well, I can only do one or two things here. I can sell at a loss. Okay, that's fine, whatever. But I can come back and think, okay, well, is H-bar going to be here for the 2025 bull run? And obviously it's showing good so far. And I could just do DCAs at 3, 4, 5, 6 cents. But again, you might see this video in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and H-bar might be at 60, 70, 80 cents, maybe even higher. And you can be like, well, Jake told me to buy H-bar, but I told you to buy it at 3 cents. I told you about 4 cents. I told you about 5 cents. I told you about 14 cents. If you start buying it at 60 cents, we are starting to sell it. Same coin, completely different outcome, and that's so important. Because again, if you look at my portfolio, you know, it's now past, yeah, we're almost at $1.1 million again. The previous high was 1.2 million, I think, back in December, January time. But obviously Donald Trump caused a big whoopsie doopsie. But now we're 735K in profit, and it's looking pretty good. But again, you know, one of my worst performers, and I show you guys everything, aluminum, I'm down $9,000, nearly $10,000 in this coin. Guys have made money on aluminum, but I haven't had a good experience in aluminum, right? Not to say it can't do well in the future, depends on gaming does, but that's beside the point. People have made money on aluminum. People will make money on aluminum, but I haven't had a good experience. Same coin, different outcome. People buying Bitcoin at $1, $10, $100 would have probably sold it at $200. That's besides the point. But now we're buying Bitcoin at 100K. Same coin, completely different outcome. So super important. Now, real quick, if you want to buy any of the coins we're going to talk about today, BTC have extended this promotion that they're doing with us. So again, you can get a 10% cashback bonus. E.g., if you deposit anything above $500, you will get back an extra $50 in your first month. So it costs you completely nothing to do this. We use BTC all the time. Actually, one of our guys, Bobby, is using this on their trades, and we're going to share some winning trades that we have in the next couple of videos with him. Again, why he likes them, he's a trader. I'm not really a trader. I'm a long-term hodler, but he likes them basically because it's one of the less fees on the market, and obviously it's no KYC. UK guys, you will need to use a VPN. NordVPN is like $3 a month, and you should have a VPN. If you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on your laptop, you need to get a VPN. I don't have an affiliate link for a VPN, but just type in Nord. I think it's like $3 a month for UK guys only. But again, they're doing this 10% back. You can do this. You can do this right now in the link in the description. I would appreciate it. You're probably going to appreciate yourself because it never hurts to have as many exchanges. And again, if you just want to get the 10% back, you can F off and just take the $50, or you could do 5,000 and get back 500 and leave after that 30 days. But regardless, probably one of the best platforms Bobby, one of my guys in my group, has used to trade on. Trusted by millions of people for 14 years. We've got over 300 cryptocurrency assets. So again, we'd appreciate it. You're probably going to appreciate yourself. And if you don't like them, just close down the account. But so far, so good. And again, the big kicker for me, 14 plus years, they've pretty much been the longest in the game. And they do give you 10% back on your first deposit. So again, appreciate them. And I appreciate it if you're looking for a new exchange to do, because it never hurts to have so many exchanges. So if I could give you a guaranteed way to make money if you are new to cryptocurrency, because I promise you, everybody that gets in cryptocurrency because they see the big green candles and they think it's so easy, it can be easy when that's happening. But 1 month, 2 months on the line, if you look at the last bull run, we had May to kind of June, we went from 60K to 30K. So Bitcoin got cut in half and altcoins got absolutely wrecked. So you might have caught the tail end of that in the last bull run, but then it got very fucking difficult, right? Because again, nobody knows when the market's going to go short term. Long term, even 7 to 8 months is not even long term, but obviously we expect that to be the peak. But let's say you bought right now, you're brand new. What happens if Bitcoin did repeat 2021 cycle and you went down 50%? You'd be panicking, right? So the most important thing is to understand that the real, most people lose money because they can't handle the swings along the way. So again, if this is your first run, okay, you're going to think you're invincible, especially in the bull market. And that happens because you make a bunch of money on paper, which is great, by the way, but we call it round tripping when you don't sell at the peak or near the peak of the run. You should never try and time the market 20% out along the way, just like you DCA. And you fumble the bag. And it happened to me, happened to many people I know, and hopefully we're not going to do it this bull run. My goal here is for you not to do that. So if I can just make you money by understanding what coins I like, I can't tell you what to buy. I can only tell you what I buy and what I like, but you know, you can do your own research on them. And again, the biggest piece of lesson is just taking your profits, because again, it does not matter. You could buy the best coin, the shittest coin, and you can make money on both of them. It doesn't really matter. But if you don't sell, it's completely a waste of time. So unfortunately, I had to stomach 4 years of doing this all again, to 21, to 25. It's a long fucking time, although it feels like yesterday, but I had to put a lot of new money in, and it wasn't fun at all, not even a little. So let's build a smart portfolio. And here's how to build a smart portfolio. Now, again, there's going to be millions of different coins that we all like, and et cetera, et cetera. Some people are going to say this is too risky. There's somebody going to say this is not risky enough, e.g. you want more money. Trying to build a smart portfolio, I think, is most important. And time is of the essence, because if Bitcoin starts to rip to 120, 130, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but the next 3-4 months could happen. This could completely change. So Blue chips. Blue chips are basically coins that we believe are going to be here. If you think of the stock market, your Nvidias now, I guess you could say, your Teslas, your Amazons, stuff that will make you money, but they won't get you rich, okay? The best time to buy these companies in the stock market were decades ago. In cryptocurrency, we move a lot faster, which is good, but just understand, if you put $1,000 into Bitcoin, you're not going to be a millionaire. In fact, you won't even be a 10,000-aire in this bull market. It's just not got a 10x in the market cap, in my opinion, in the next 6 months. So you could buy stuff like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and even XRP now. I think XRP is kind of considered a blue chip now because it beat the lawsuit. It went from 50 cents to like $3. I think it's chilling about 2 to 250. These won't move the fastest. They've already done that. Okay, that's why they're well established, but they're safer, right? And they'll make you money at today's prices. So again, Bitcoin right now at $104,000 at the time of recording, it is not going to go to $1 million anytime soon. It will eventually, because again, as we know, fiat, or that equals cash, for you guys that don't know what the word fiat means, it means GBP, USD, that is ultimately going to zero, okay, with inflation. Therefore, Bitcoin has no top. That's a kind of little quote from one of our guys in a private community. His bio is, fiat has no bottom, thus Bitcoin has no top. But if you're trying to make a bunch of money, in the short term, it's not going to be Bitcoin, but it will make you money. Okay, that's what I can ultimately guarantee you. But if you don't take profits, you'll round trip it. Ethereum started to wake back up. Okay, if you look at this on the last month, for example, it has went up 61%. That's 10 years in the S&P 500 on average returns for a market cap of 300 billion. So Ethereum started to wake back up. So time is of the essence of Ethereum, in my opinion. It was a lot better buys at 1.8 to 2K, and now it's starting to heat back up. But it will give you more returns than Bitcoin. And of course, it is a blue chip. Now, Solana, I think it stood the test of time. It was a little bit risky back here, but again, the guys that took the risk made all the reward. At 176, it's not going to do a 10x in this bull run, but it's probably going to hit $500 to $700. And if that suits your goals, that's what I would look at. Now, XRP, a lot of people love this coin. A lot of people really hate this coin. In my opinion, we've seen that once XRP wins a lawsuit, because it was very suppressed, it was not fair that it had for like literally years and years and years. But now it's pretty much at that 2017 peak run that it had when it went parabolic. So again, this is more of a blue chip. It's not as blue chip as obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I do think it has more returns thus far. Now, mid caps, that's where I put 30%. So this is projects with real teams and potential hype coming later in the cycle. And it's going to move a lot faster. Okay, and it's still going to be safe, but it's obviously not going to be as safe as Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. You could think of things like Sui, Render, HBAR. Now, again, some people don't like HBAR, but I think HBAR is becoming a blue chip right now just because it's been in the game for so long, and just because it's obviously had a big pump, and obviously it's almost at 10 billion market cap. So I do think it's considered a blue chip. Sui, and in my opinion, again, 14 billion. It's above that 10 billion market cap. In my opinion, would be a blue chip. Render is the riskier one here, but I think this has a lot to run. If you look, give or take, in the last year to take, we bought this at 270, give or take down here. And obviously it did a nice little quick flip for over 2x. We're really betting on NVIDIA and the stock market to do well and really under this AI. But in my opinion, with ChatGPT and all this other AI projects that are coming out, if Render can keep developing, and they're one of the most solid projects in crypto, which is hard to say because a lot of AI projects in crypto are mostly scams, in my opinion. They're basically just AI with a label on them and then just run it, okay? But I do think Render is super undervalued, but obviously is a little bit more riskier because obviously in crypto, the space moves fast. With AI in crypto, this space moves very fast. So again, those are what we consider maybe 30% of that portfolio, and I'll put those kind of mid caps. Now, the Moonshots, these are where it can be very small market cap, risky coins. They could also grow from 10x to 100x plus. And in my opinion, you only use money you're okay with losing here. Now, again, that sounds hard to say that, but your whole goal with the blue chips and the mid caps, 80% of your portfolio, that will do all the legwork where it's going to make you money and it'll cover the 20%. But obviously, if the Moonshots do average or super, super well, that'll do most of the damage in the 80% category. Now, again, you can also look for new tokens launching in 2025. That's risky, pre-sales, etc. I'll give you a perfect example. I've had many bad pre-sales that haven't worked out. This coin I talked about, I think it was 2 months ago now. You can go back and check the channel. Reploy, RAI. I pretty much, I guess you could say I got lucky, but I was looking at Twitter accounts. Long story short, I made 66 grand off this, of basically 1K. It was one of the best pre-sales. I got a lot of dopamine, although it is waking back up right now, but I wouldn't probably buy this right now just because most of the people that got in on this really took profits. Another example could be Brett. So Brett is a meme coin. It's a very risky coin. But in my opinion, coins like Dogecoin, Flocky, Pepe, a little bit too high market cap for always being a riskier coin or riskier category. But in my opinion, I did this on Brett. So this is my risky category. So I went a little bit heavier in Brett, but I wanted to put that 20% in my portfolio, although Brett's like 3 to 4%. But obviously I have other positions like Veracity that had a little bit of a whoopsie-doopsie. I kind of panicked a little bit. I don't know if you guys seen this. It was almost like a scam kind of wick, but I was looking at their Twitter account. Long story short, I think a lot of people were taking profits. They tried to leverage long this and obviously got a liquidation wick, but it looks to be okay. But I was like, okay, is this another mantra situation where this coin rugs? But I've got a tiny, I think less than 1% of my portfolio in this coin. And if it did rug, that's fine. But obviously I do think it is a good project. But again, I think I've got like maybe $6,000, $7,000 in this coin. If this coin does do a 50 to 100x, although I won't be taking profits at that level, I'll be getting out way before that. That's where you can do a lot of legwork for a small amount of percent to your portfolio. Another example could be Beam. Obviously, Beam is a little bit risky right now because gaming coins haven't really moved, if that makes sense. But I do believe like 2021, this category will heat up. So again, that's where your 20% is going to be, in my opinion. You can look at this. I wouldn't copy me, definitely not. But I would just say, okay, well, Jake said this. You can take those percentages, you can twist it out. And again, as we approach a market, you might start 50, 30, 20. But as coins go up and coins go down or just don't compete against each other, this is going to move all the time. It's just guide works and just examples on how you can start. Because here's the thing. A lot of people are going to say, well, stop recommending these coins, but like that's what you have to do, right? Or how are you supposed to make a video? But regardless of that, if I recommend coins and you buy them or not, again, you should never buy what I'm saying. You should just take advice and then just go and do your research. Hopefully you respect me saying that, unless buy. But the whole point is to understand that this at least gets you started, because many people just binge watch YouTube videos. Okay, I did this in 2020. I wanted to buy the C19 crash, but I was too scared. I was just binge watching videos. Like, let me do another month more research. And the month of research just became me looking at YouTubers of top 10 coins to invest in. And then it just got me done more research. I never did it until Bitcoin finally pumped to like 17 to 19K, where I could have bought at 3 to 4 to 5 in the C19 crash. So at least this gets you taking action. That's my kind of main point. And again, if you take action over the longer term, you'll eventually make more money. So what you also have to understand is don't just buy, time it smart. So again, a lot of people say that buying everything in one day is risky. And I would agree with that, because the better approach is to DCA, dollar cost average, in my opinion. Now, if you see a big dip on a project you like or across the market, that's when you would maybe go a little bit heavier. But the DCA, dollar cost averaging, if that's every single day, if that's every single week, if that's every single month, it's up to you. When you get cash and you like the prices that we are right now, DCA, e.g., my example in HBAR. Big mistake in the last bull run, but I just seen over time, I was just buying. I was doing this pretty much every single day because I wanted to bring my cost basis from around 14 or so cents when I put $40,000 in, and I wanted to bring that as close to under 10 as possible. Now, the good news is HBAR went in a big bear market for a lot longer than most of other coins. I was able to get that cost basis at just under 7 cents, about 0.067, so pretty much under 7 cents. And that's because of DC a day. But I had to have the conviction of filling up my other bags, because if HBAR didn't do too well, so far it is doing too well since the entry prices, but if it didn't do too well, I had to have other plays pick up the bag. Because if you're 100% in one coin, if it goes great, it's great. But what happens if it doesn't? And this is cryptocurrency. It's not the stock market. So it's super speculative. So the next thing you need to do is watch for red flags. Now, red flags can be everywhere. They're in the stock market, they're when you leave the house, they're in your probably marriage, they're with your dog. There's red flags everywhere. But in cryptocurrency, it's very fucking simple. Is the team real and doxed? Okay. Is there a working product? And is there a real use case, or is there just hype? Now, the caveat to this is you can still make money if none of these boxes are ticked, e.g. my Brett position. You can simply ride on hype, because with Brett, is the team real and docs? I don't actually know. I've never actually researched it, but it's probably some kid in his basement that launched this. Okay, well, I didn't tick off that box, but I understand that it's a meme coin play. So it's not really like Solana, right? If it was Solana, it was a big market cap, there better be a fucking team, or that's way too risky. Is there a working product with Brett? Well, no, it's literally just a leverage bet against, riding up Dodge and Pepe's market cap and people buying higher because it's probably going to get listed on Coinbase being a base coin, and people are going to flock to it, and then I'm going to sell on them. And that's the game with like these coins. Does Brett have a use case? Well, fucking no, right? So again, not all these boxes are going to be ticked, but maybe in that 20% bag, okay, with your 50, 30 and your riskier coins, your 20%, probably not going to be able to tick this, and that's fine. That's why they're risky bets. Again, my bet on Brett is it's the #1 meme coin in base. And again, don't buy Brett just because I'm saying this. I wish you bought it 1 year ago and put it in a liquidity pool. You would have made a fuck ton of money. But right now, yeah, understand it's risky. But anyways, Coinbase will probably listen to this run, okay? Well, it means a lot of people are going to FOMO in the peak 2025. People are going to rush in to buy this blue little frog coin, and then ideally we sell. That's pretty much the 2025 bull run plan with Brett. But I've got it paired in a liquidity pool, which is doing super, super well. And again, I'm not banking on all of this happening, but that's just good use cases loosely, and what I can speculate that coins and the meme coins, the small market cap gaming and AI coins will do, because most of them don't have a team. Maybe have a little team, but nobody knows do they have a working product. Well, some of the gaming coins do, some of the AI coins do, most of them don't. But with meme coins, you're not going to be able to tick off any of these boxes. But again, that's why it's a smaller percent of your portfolio. If you look at Render, for example, you can see here on screen, is the team doxed and real? Well, yeah, there's a lot of smart people working on Render. Is there a working product? Well, if you look at Render's actual product, they're the first world decentralized GPU rendering platform. I'm not very smart at this kind of stuff, but I know and I can understand that people need GPUs. They're like cheap GPUs. They need it to work, especially with stocks and companies like NVIDIA. So this would be a little bit more of doing research and understanding, well, Render's probably going to do super, super well. Because that's how they have the first world decentralized GPU rendering platform. You would do a little bit more research. You would understand, well, does the price of the market cap make sense? Is it fair value? Cryptocurrency, take that word loosely. It's not the stock market. But again, the caveat is if both Render and Brett do well, Brett will probably outperform it, although it's not ticked any of these boxes off because it's more speculative, it's less market cap, and it's obviously more risky, but basically people are going to be betting on Brett, they're buying higher than you, and that's how you have to play it. Render, it's still a low market cap in my opinion, but that's fine, okay? Again, you understand that game and you have your portfolio allocated just in case maybe Brett doesn't do too well. So far, so good, but what if Render doesn't do too well? Okay, well, maybe you need some other coins to really pick up those positions, but the beautiful thing is, about coins like Render is they're still low enough. Here's the caveat. Render is still low enough and super undervalued in my opinion, where they can still give you almost meme coin gains, okay? In my opinion. So keep it simple. You don't want to try and hold 50 coins. Don't be one of those guys. You're going to lose track and it's super stressful. Focus on 5 to 15. I technically do have, I think, 18 at the time of recording. So I've kind of went away from it. But again, as you be in the market for 5 years now, you start to pick up some coins. It's just a game. But if you're brand new and you're buying today, you should not have 18 coins. You should focus and go heavy in ones, okay? Because it's much better to plant little seeds and make that tree go higher than have just little crops that can't do any damage. So I can almost guarantee, and I always say this, and it's kind of funny, but it's true, the guys that have 50 more coins, I bet their car's a mess. I bet they have dishes left in the sink. I bet they have so many tabs on their PC. Don't take offense to this, but I just hate mess because there's coins fucking everywhere. There's all these exchanges, and it's just too messy. Messy life, messy coins. Keep it simple. Hold, don't panic. The market's going to go up a lot. It's going to go down a lot. There's probably going to be some more dips along the way. Most people lose money in times like this because they buy high and sell low. The real winners, they hold during the dips and they DCA if they believe it's still an opportunity, and they simply take profits along the journey. If your coin does a 5 to 10x, take some money out, please. Okay, real, that'll save you so much money. And you don't have to sell everything. You can let stuff ride and lock in wins, and that's fine. But you can also lock in wins, and if stuff starts to go down and maybe you lock in a little bit down, or maybe you just ride it further down for the next bull run, you've still locked in the 5 to 10x. So you'll still always make money. And the last thing I want to say is share your plan, okay? You post on your social media, email it to friends. You know, if you can help somebody out, like I'm trying to help you out, share the word. Because the whole goal is to keep our money from rotting in a bank account and letting the government control us, okay? Because what that'll happen is you'll just be forced to work more hours. You're never going to keep up if you have a normal job with inflation, and you're just going to be very fucking sad with not enough money to retire on. If you do this, you're going to help your younger generation. So when I make these videos, I try and make a video to my younger self, not younger age-wise, but younger self that I was starting out. And that's all I can really do. And if you can do that to somebody else, you get them on your journey, and it just flywheels. So the real lesson, I really started this YouTube channel in 2020 because no one in the real world wanted to talk about cryptocurrency. My mom, my dad, my friends, most of them, they weren't interested. Might as well talk to internet people, right? And the whole goal was to get people into crypto, to make good money, to escape, and really just get ahead in life. If you can spread the word yourself, you've done your job, because the traditional path is not going to save you. And that's the reason why you're on videos like this. Our dads and grandparents could get in properties and could get in the early companies in the stock market and make it. But right now, in my opinion, there's no other investment vehicle if you are the normal guy to freedom. That's just reality, so take this fucking seriously. My closing thoughts is this bull run is really getting heated up in real time, okay? And it could be life-changing for you. Maybe not this bull run if you've got a low amount of money, but We're banking on next bull runs. Just do super well and take profits. That's your first goal. But it's only for people that prepare now, okay? And most of the gains are yet to be made, okay? Or you might be looking at prices and think, oh, we've ran a lot. Yeah, we have ran a lot, okay? We've ran so much. But most of the gains are going to come in Q4. Get excited about that. And that's when the fun really starts. And I promise you, it's going to be one hell of a ride. And just remember what I told you at the start of this video. I did all the things right in 2021 to make that 950K. Okay, I bought the right coins, etc., etc. But I forgot the most important part, okay? And that's the pitfall of many first investors' cryptocurrency investments, and that's taking profits. So if you do want to know exactly how and when I'm going to be taking profits on each specific coins in my portfolio and not completely lose your bull run like I had to do in the last bull run in 2021, what I want you to do is watch this video here, and it's going to show you some of the key indicators to use that are super simple so you can exit this bull run and use it on your own portfolio to the coins that you had, so you don't have to make the 950K loss mistake that I had to learn. So go and watch this video right now, and I'll see you over there, guys. Peace and take care.